WYLP, Raleigh.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Simon Marks. President Biden says the use of force is a possible option if Iran continues to develop nuclear weapons. Italy is once again gripped by political uncertainty after the country's president rejected Prime Minister Mario Draghi's offer of resignation. And Rishi Sunak once again topped another round of voting to succeed Boris Johnson as the UK's next Prime Minister. He's one of 5 candidates left in the race after Attorney General Suella Braverman was eliminated.
Brought to you by Triangle Access Broadcasting, here's a look at the weather in the Oak 93.5 listening area. For tonight, mostly cloudy skies with a chance of showers and scattered thunderstorms, low around 71. Thursday, partly to mostly cloudy and humid with a chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms, high around 91. Thursday night, cloudy with a chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms, patchy fog is possible, low around 72. Friday, mostly cloudy and humid with showers and thunderstorms, high around 90. And Friday night, mostly cloudy skies with a chance of showers and scattered thunderstorms, low around 70. Keep it here on Oak 93.5. I'm nowcast meteorologist Jim Vaughn.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're now tuned into Chat City with P. Ross. Conversations and interviews are in the queue. Listen or join in. Here she is, P. Ross.
Greetings, everyone. It's another show, Chat City with P. Ross. I am your host, P. Ross. Thank you for tuning in once again. And in the station with me today, I am very excited to have 2 very important people. I have Ms. Monica Edwards of Moorhead Bed and Breakfast, and we also have Mr. Darnell Showcase Taylor, national recording artist. Welcome to Chat City, you two.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. And let me make sure I said that right. Moorhead Manor Bed and Breakfast. Did I say that correctly, Monica?
Moorhead Manor Bed and Breakfast is correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, so when I think of an inn coupled with someone who's African American and they're an owner, I'm reminded of one of my favorite TV shows that portrayed a black couple who too owned a hotel, a place of hospitality. Monica, do you know what show I'm referring to?
Maybe Checked In.
The Jamie Foxx show. You ever watch the Jamie Foxx show?
Yes, I did. I forgot about that one.
Oh, that's okay. And, I was always pleased to see I never looked at anyone African-American in that capacity of ownership and hospitality. So I think that is something real special, and especially when I looked at the number or the percentile of hotel owners who are African-American. If I read it correctly, there's only like 2% or less.
That is correct.
Throughout the U.S. Monica, so you graduated from high school. You went on to college at East Carolina University, and you had a idea with a career in business and administration and human resources. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. So tell me how the hospitality industry played or sparked up for you.
Well, given the fact that I'm from Southern Pines, which is the Mid-South resort, I think hospitality may have been in my blood.
Okay.
But I didn't think that I was going to be going into hospitality because my mom, during her college years, worked at Atlantic Beach, South Carolina. And so therefore, all through high school, when my friends were working at the Pinehurst Hotel and other resorts in the area, she wouldn't allow me to do that because she knew the fortitude that it would take to do that, and she didn't want to subject us to that.
Okay.
So I didn't get a chance to do that, although I was envious of all of my friends who did. Once I graduated and I came to Durham to get my MBA, and was working in human resource management and accounting area, and then went on to work as a trust tax officer. And was in a situation where my job was being downsized. And in the course of shutting down the business, one of my husband's colleagues gave us a night stay at a B&B. And I just thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I'm like, hey, we can do this, because ever since we've been together, we've had people living with us. And we used to plan some hellacious events and things like that. So we decided over the next year that we would just think about it. And it was going to be something that we did when we retired. But fortunately for us, we did it before we retired.
Awesome. That's great. You know what? I'm going to give that a house applause. All right. Okay, so you currently own and operate Moorhead Manor Bed and Breakfast, and that's located in Durham, North Carolina. What's the difference between bed and breakfast versus hotel, motel, Holiday Inn? I've never stayed in or experienced a bed and breakfast, so tell us what the difference is.
Well, a bed and breakfast is going to be a smaller property where you get more personalized service. More of a concierge service. As an innkeeper, I see myself as an ambassador to the city. So when our guests come and stay with us, I have a good feel for what kinds of things they like to do in the city, and I'm able to direct them to restaurants that may be they're good for them, as well as activities.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the hospitality industry can be exciting, as you said, meeting people and from every walk of life, all walks of life. So there's no room for mediocrity, I'm sure. What are some of the things you do to ensure your guests would have the best guest experience from you?
Well, I think it's just basically offering a quality stay. We try to be what we call needs anticipation specialists. So having a handle on those things that people are looking for when they're coming to stay with us, coming to visit the area, and making sure those things are available, or people being able to have access to those things.
Okay. All right. Now, I know I've had a little bit of experience with the hospitality industry myself, working in a hotel. And I know you have to always be on your P's and Q's. You always have to greet, smile, and you really have to feel it from the heart, actually, you know. But what do you do with the customer or the guest from hell? How do you handle the guest from hell?
Fortunately, that doesn't happen often. I think because my husband is a retired police officer, I've learned de-escalation techniques.
That's good.
And I think a lot of times when a person arrives, you never know how they have gotten there, what their day has been like. So you just ask them, I just ask them, how was your trip here, or whatever like that. And I try to, if they had a bad day, I try to offer things that will maybe lighten the load for them. Like, so what about if we just have, sit down and I'll give you a glass of lemonade or something like that. Or I can direct you to a really great bar that you can have some nice cocktails or something like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Now, you and your husband, Daniel, you two let's see. You got the Cobbs, what is it? You converted the Cobbs Tom's house?
Yes.
Am I pronouncing that correctly?
That is correct.
Okay. How did you come across this opportunity? And
I think it was a divine intervention.
Okay.
In us thinking about opening a bed and breakfast, as I said, it was something that we were going to do when we retired, but the powers to be would have it that it would be before then. Daniel worked probably as a patrol officer 14 days a month, so he had time off. And one of his favorite hobbies is interior decorating.
Oh, okay.
And so he had decorated our house. He had decorated his mom's house. I'd farmed him out and decorate friends and family's house. And everybody told him that he was good at what he did, but he didn't believe us because we were not professional decorators. So one day I just got tired and told him, I said, hey, since you don't seem to believe us, why don't you find a local interior designer and volunteer your services, and maybe you'll believe whether or not this person tells you that you're good at it or you need to stick with your day job. And so he found a gentleman in Durham who had been doing interior design for over 50 years, volunteered his services. And probably in less than 3 weeks after working with him, he told Daniel, he said, I've never seen anyone with as much talent as you at all in the 50 years that I've been working. And he said, you really know what you're doing. And so Daniel was of course, he was elated to hear that. Well, long story short, we had gone on a weekend getaway to do some family financial planning. And lo and behold, when we got back, and we stayed at a bed and breakfast, when we got back, Daniel went in and he told the guy, he said, I'm looking for the perfect place to open a bed and breakfast. Mm-hmm. And the gentleman's name was Jack Mitchell. He said, well, Daniel, he said, where would you like for it to be? How much money do you have to spend? And all those qualifying questions that most people will ask you. Mm-hmm. Well, Daniel says, well, I don't know. He said, but I'll know it's the perfect place when I see it. Mm-hmm. And so Jack had done some work at our property before we had it. And he said, that would be the perfect place because it's in the perfect location. He said all the guest rooms have their own proper bathrooms and everything like that. So that would be perfect. And Daniel said, well, what are you waiting on? Why don't you just call the gentleman and see if he's willing to have a conversation with me? And one thing led to another, and boom, that was in August of 1996. Wow. And we closed on the house in February of 1997.
Awesome. That's great. I'm going to give that a house applause. So you've been in business over 25 years, and during this time frame, you've been active in various professional organizations that come along with what you do. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I was the past president of the North Carolina Bed and Breakfast and Inns Association, which unfortunately is no longer in existence, but that served as a liaison between innkeepers in North Carolina and the state with regards to rules and regulations and just in general keeping us abreast of what was going on in the industry. Mm-hmm. I've also been a part of what was called at the time PI, the Professional Association of Innkeepers International, which is now the Association of Lodging Professionals. It's morphed into that. And I'm also involved with the African American Association of Innkeepers International.
Okay. Did you feel a need to do this on your own, or was it a requirement for you to do as an innkeeper?
It was a need to do on my own. I think in order for you to be successful with any professional, being amongst your peers to be abreast of the changes in the industry or the trends in the industry is always going to be helpful to make you successful.
Yes. All right. If you are just tuning in, you're listening to Chat City with P. Ross. I am your host, P. Ross. My guests today are the lovely Miss Monica Edwards, owner, operator of Moorhead Bed and Breakfast in Durham, North Carolina, and the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Darnell Showcase Taylor. He is a well-known national artist, and stick around. We're gonna hear from him, and we're gonna get to hear some of his music. So that'll be a treat for us. Monica, you have won, or Moorhead Manor Bed and Breakfast have won numerous local and national awards. You were also featured in Essex Magazine and Southern Living Magazine, and I believe most recently Our State Magazine, and some others. I want to say congratulations to you on that. That means you're doing something great.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about that experience, being approached by the magazines and being asked about your establishment there.
Well, I think because we've done a great job and we've had people to stay with us from all over, and we've gotten really good reviews on social media as well as on the travel networks and things such as that. Just recently, we were voted the best place to stay in Durham in the Durham Magazine's 12th annual Best of contest, and that was based on votes from our, I guess, followers, friends, and guests, and we're very happy to have that.
We're giving that a house applause too. That is awesome. Now, what advice, Monica, do you have for someone who's interested in managing or purchasing a bed and breakfast such as yours, or being in the hospitality industry?
Well, I think hospitality has to be in your blood. It's more of a lifestyle versus something that you learn, just like customer service. Mm-hmm. If you are going to be good at it, it has to be embodied in your everyday lifestyle. As far as if you wanted to open a bed and breakfast, typically what I tell aspiring innkeepers, the best thing to do is to find an innkeeper that is currently operating. Volunteer your time and service with that inn and that innkeeper so you can learn firsthand what it takes to be successful. And that's the easiest way to do it without making the financial commitment and then deciding this is not something that you want to do.
Mm-hmm. That sounds great. Thank you so very much for that, Monica.
Thank you.
All right. Now, as I mentioned before, we also have in the studio with us today Mr. Darnell Showcase Taylor. And I said man, myth, and legend. I won't say myth because he's actually in the building with us today. Welcome to the show, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Now, I'm one that surf Facebook a lot just because of the business that I do, entertainment. And I was just scrolling through one day, and I came across this. It was either a poster or a video in which you were on. And this video or poster, I don't remember because it's been a while back. It was on the page of a well-known DJ in the Raleigh area, Mr. 360, DJ 360.
Oh, yeah,
of
yeah.
360 Entertainment. So a big shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to DJ 360.
So what I did was I reached out to him and I said, who is this gentleman? And he told me a little bit about yourself, and then I witnessed it for myself. I actually remembered seeing a video with you on it, and I'm like, wow, he's good. So, Mr. Taylor, you were born and raised in Moncure, North Carolina.
Yes.
And you've been picking up instruments since the age of 15. You're self-taught, is that correct?
That is correct. Actually, I started around the age of 12.
Age of 12,
Yeah.
all right.
But 15 is where I started actually playing out. Like actually doing gigs, yeah.
Okay, so what instruments, I know you pretty much, the guitar is your favorite, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, so what instruments did you start tinkering with at that age?
First, I started off with piano,
Mm-hmm.
as a lot of kids do.
Mhm.
It was, my parents, we got, I think, a flyer from school,
Mhm.
just announcing it. And I was like, I think it'd be cool to learn piano. And I was around 8 years old when I started that. And I eventually put it down. I didn't keep up with it maybe a few months. I didn't keep up with the lessons. And then after that, a few years later, I think I was in 7th grade, and they offered band.
Mm-hmm.
They had the opportunity to be in the band at school, and I chose trombone because they didn't have guitar at the time. I wanted to play guitar, but they didn't have it available.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, I didn't keep up with the trombone. So I had to convince my parents once I wanted a guitar that I was actually going to play the guitar. And I remember telling them verbatim, I said, listen, if you buy me this guitar, I will not put it down. Like, I knew what I wanted, and I knew that I really wanted to play it. So they bought it. They surprised me later that year with the guitar with Christmas. And here it is so many years later
Okay.
that I'm still playing guitar.
All right. Now there are different type of guitars. I mean, there's bass guitar. What other type of guitars are there? I don't know.
That is correct. That's
But,
quite a bit.
Which is your favorite?
Primarily, I play electric guitar,
Okay.
which is what you see most people play in
Uh-huh.
pop music and R&B, whatever. But I play the electric guitar. I play acoustic guitar as well. I play the nylon acoustic, which is more of a Spanish style.
Okay.
And then you have the steel string acoustic, which is considered, like country music or pop music, primarily. And then I play the bass as well,
Okay.
primarily. as
All
well.
right. So what was it about the electric guitar that makes it stand out from the rest?
The first word you just said, electric.
Okay.
It was electric. I watched Prince on television, and I watched Slash play a solo one time on American Music Awards, and I was like, that's what I want to do.
Oh.
It was electrifying, just watching Prince and over the years and just seeing when he soloed and how he captivated the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as well as myself being mesmerized, like I wanted that power
Okay.
in a sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, you've played for a variety of artists, including Grammy award-winning Anthony Hamilton.
Yeah,
I'ma
shout out to
give you,
Anthony.
a house applause on that.
Thank you.
And I've also seen you on the stage with Brian Culbertson.
That is correct.
I have yet to see one of his shows, but I know he's coming to North Carolina soon, so I hope to see him soon.
I think it's September 19th.
Is it September 19th?
Yeah, Carolina Theater, I believe.
All right. Now, I know these are exciting experiences, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Tell us how you were able to meet and play for Anthony Hamilton.
Well, a good friend of mine by the name of Pastor Kenny Leonard. He's the husband of Tasha Cobbs, the gospel Grammy Award winning gospel singer. He's one of my great good friends, and the opportunity came available. He was the music director. He was playing for Anthony prior to me coming in the band, and the opportunity became available. He called me and was like, "Hey, we're looking for a guitar player. Would you be interested?" I thought about it for a second, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And my first show, I never practiced, I never rehearsed with the band. They just sent me a show, MP3 of the show, and I rehearsed to myself at home. And my first gig with Anthony was in New Orleans. This is when Chris Paul was playing for the New Orleans Pelicans at the time.
Okay.
And he had a private birthday party. And that was my first gig with Chris Paul's birthday party. So I met Anthony that day, and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, "What's up, man? Nice to meet you, And he was like, "You ready?" I was like, "Kick it off." I was ready. I was ready for my moment. And we played the sound check. We ran through the show. And he was like, "Yeah, you ready?" He was like, "Man, what you got going on?" I was like, "Playing with you." And that was almost 10 years later. I was with him. So it's been a blessing. Shout out to Anthony and the whole crew, the Ham fam. That's my people. Like, I haven't been there since 2019. Moved on, whatever. And, all the other guys have kind of moved on and kind of grown to other things, whatever. But we're still all on a group text, and we randomly just text each other Father's Day, Christmas, or whatever is whoever's birthday. We all clowning on the group text.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Now, tell us, did Brian Culbertson just invite you to the stage, or how did you get that experience on stage with him?
Well, another similar experience. Your reputation precedes you. That's why it's always important, of course, to do a good job and be a nice person. Like Miss Monica's has here. I saw that. It's like, always
be a nice human.
Be a nice human, yeah. So I came recommended through my brother, some may know, Mr. Marcus Anderson. And he was like, he had been telling me about Brian, was looking for a guitar player as well. And I had released a solo record back in 2018 and was really starting to kind of getting more into putting my record out, and focusing on my solo career. So it's like, this might be a great opportunity to move into the smooth jazz market a little more. So, met Brian, kind of auditioned, I guess. I was playing with Marcus, but it was like an audition for Brian because he opened up for him that night. And, they sent me the show. I think my first gig with Brian was 2019, but it was the New Year's, bringing in 2020.
All right, that's great.
No, I'm sorry, 2018, bringing in 2019.
Oh,
New
okay.
Year's, yeah.
Awesome.
Similar situation, no rehearsal, just showed up and
Just showed up.
played the
showed
show.
out.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Exactly.
showcased them.
Showcase. That's right. We're gonna give you a house of applause on that
Thank you. To God be the glory.
one. Amen. Darnell, it's one thing to cover songs and play what an artist has written, but you have composed as well.
I have.
At what time did you discover your writing skills, and what was the reaction from your family and friends?
I want to say it was around the time that I really started getting pretty good at playing guitar. So that would have been around age 15, 16. And as I was doing that, I was playing for a local artist at the time, and her name was Mary Lowry. She was from Moncure as well. And we started performing locally and regionally in the area. And she recorded one time, and as we were there in the studio, I was watching the producers and all of them and how they put everything together, and I was like, I think I want to do that. I felt like it was exciting. So it was. I would say it was around that time that I really started to get into the writing and really start cultivating that. And then I met a friend. His name is Patrick Dickerson. Shout out to Patrick. And he really like pushed me into like songwriting when I was around that age. So I really owe him a lot to this day.
Okay, we're gonna give him a house applause.
Please. Oh man.
Because all of that writing skill has led you to be able to collaborate with the writing team at Fox, right? Fox
Yes.
TV.
Yep.
And so you've written something for Shots Fired, the TV show. Is that correct?
Yep. So I was a part of the music team. They brought us in. Of course, you know they were out of L.A., but they filmed in Charlotte, and they brought in the members of Anthony's team, and we recorded some of the songs that were written for the TV show. It was a great series, which I hope they would bring back one day. So if they're listening, you know, let's bring that back. It has some great content. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's Shots Fired. I think it was on Tubi for a minute, and it's floating around on a lot of different platforms. But it was only one season. Yeah, so we did 2 episodes. So not only did we record the music, but we also played extras. So I got a chance to get a little camera time.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that kind of like got me into the television bug too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to get through that a little more as well. So.
Okay. Now there are various genres of music out here, and your roots seem to have begun with gospel. Is that
Absolutely.
correct? All right.
Gospel, man. Like I will always shout it out and give it respect. You know where it's due. And that's how I was raised.
Okay.
And raised on Southern gospel and quartet music and contemporary. You know, we called it contemporary choir music back then. But yeah, so in my house, I listened to quartet. I listened to contemporary, you know, Christian music. I listened to soul music. My dad listened to all the Johnny Taylor and B.B. King, Little Milton, all that stuff back in the day. So it was soul all throughout my house.
Okay. Now, aside from gospel, which do you prefer to play the most?
Funk music.
Funk music. Okay.
All day long.
All right. I'm going to have to connect you with a gentleman out of Greensboro, the funk player, Mr. Kirby Hamilton Jr. Have you heard of him?
Okay. I'm not familiar, but what up, Kirby?
Okay. He's all about funk.
Okay.
But right now, we're going to take time out to listen to something you have written. This is called Summer Nights.
Oh, that's that's the one I actually was playing live with.
That was the one you was actually playing live?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So you want to do that one?
Before we do, let me just let our listeners know you are listening to Chat City with P. Ross on WRLY Raleigh, Oak 93.5. And you're about to hear something real nice and special from the one and only Mr. Darnell Showcase Taylor.
Whenever you want to roll it.
Okay. and smooth, man.
Thank you.
That is so nice.
That was a little something off the cuff right there.
A little something off the cuff.
Yeah.
Okay, if you just tuned in, you are listening to Chat City with P. Ross on Oak 93.5 WRLY Raleigh. In the station with me today, I have the lovely Ms. Monica Edwards, owner-operator of Moorhead Manor Bed and Breakfast. And you just heard the sounds live here in the station from Mr. Darnell Showcase Taylor, national recording artist. Thank you again for being here with us today. If you have any questions for our guests, please feel free to call in at 919-899-9305. We will be happy to answer them for you. All right. Mr. Taylor, do you still get butterflies before a performance? Or do you get any butterflies?
I do. I do. It just depends. It really does. I try not to get... I focus on what I'm doing, but I try not to get so caught up in it that I want that a natural reaction to what it is. But I do appreciate getting nervous because it always keeps it fresh.
Uh-huh.
It's never a thing where it becomes dull. I don't never want it to become dull.
Yes, absolutely. Now, have you taught anyone how to play an instrument?
I've taught a few people how to actually play. One of my good friends, his name is Thomas Perry. He lives here in the Raleigh area, and so he's actually an older gentleman that wanted to learn. Like we were saying, it's never too late to start learning how to do something that you've always wanted to do. And he came to me, and he's been like probably my main student for the last almost 10 years now.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Now, is there any other musicians you have mentored or trained?
That I've mentored or trained? Yes, I've mentored a few guys. One in particular, his name is Demetrius Everett. He's a drummer for Marcus Anderson. He's played with Kenny Lattimore, CeeLo Green, quite a few other artists that he's played for. And I would consider him one of my mentees.
Okay.
Yeah. But, you know, I don't necessarily have... I look at a lot of different people or musicians as mentees in a sense, but not under that umbrella. I just always try to drop some good wisdom and knowledge to help them in with their careers, and not only their careers. I'm more so concerned about their lives.
Okay.
And how they live their lives, and not getting caught up in the music industry as we all hear the dark side of it. And it's very easy to get caught up in that. But I try to encourage to be homeowners. You know, save your money, invest your money, things of that nature.
All right, we're gonna give you a house applause on that. I like that advice. Right there.
I've had people to give me that advice, and it's only fair to pass that on.
Okay. Now, earlier in the show, you've mentioned award-winning saxophonist Marcus Anderson, who you have ties to, and you two have recently made history. I think you got a number 4 spot.
Yes.
On Billboard.
We got
music
number
charts.
4, yeah.
Okay, that gets a house applause.
Yeah,
I like my house applause. All right.
Thank you very much.
That is exciting. And you did a number called Soul Ties.
Soul Ties.
All right. Tell us about your relationship with Mr. Anderson and how you got to number 4 on Billboard.
Well, I'll take it back to 2008 was when we met. Again, my good friend, Pastor Kenneth Leonard, he introduced Marcus and I. He was like, listen, you guys are both great. You both live in the area. I think you all should connect. And I'm just sitting there thinking about this, man. Kenny, he was very prophetic back then with putting us all together. But, yeah. And since then, we've been rocking out for years. You know, we used to rock at Zydeco's, and that was our place to hang out and kind of like cultivate our skills and our craft, you know. So, I've been rocking with Marcus since then. And then he came to me when he put out he was working on this album entitled Reverse. And he was like, I had this song called Soul Ties. It's like, I think I really wanted to get you on the solo of it. I was like, okay, cool. But he was like, no, like, I want to feature you. I was like, oh, that's even better. Like, thank you. You know, because people, they call me all the time and want me to record like a guitar solo on their song, but not necessarily as a featured artist. So this was special. And the fact that I've been working with him all these years and that he asked me to do it, I got to give him a lot of credit too. He's the one that really pushed me to be a solo artist. Because I was very comfortable being a role player, you know.
Wow. I know you also mentioned Tasha Cobbs, and you've done some things with her as well. You accompanied her on a Grammy. No, let me get that back. Did she win a Grammy for the song One Place?
I don't know. I can't remember if she won a Grammy. I know she was nominated for that particular album.
Okay, so you did some work with her on that piece as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. I think it was in One Place, on the song One Place on that album, the title cut. I played acoustic guitar.
Okay.
On that song. It's one of my favorite songs, actually.
Okay. And you said early on in the show, I believe, that you met her through you two had a mutual friend. Is that correct?
Yes, her husband.
Her husband. Okay, that is just special.
Yeah. He's North Carolina. You know, a lot of people don't know he's from North Carolina. He's from Lewisburg originally.
Okay. All right. Wow. Yeah, North Carolina has produced a lot of great talent.
Of great people.
Yes. Exciting. Just exciting. Your list goes on and on. What celebrity artists you haven't played with but wish to do so?
Oh, man. Prince would have been like at the top of my list.
Somehow I knew you was going to say Prince. I'm going to give myself a house applause on that because I kind of just predicted that.
Yeah.
And, you sent me a photograph to put on a poster, and it was you in a nice red hat with is that a red guitar, or the color's deceiving me?
Nah, it is a red guitar.
It is a red guitar. And immediately I thought about Prince when he did that performance. What was that song? He was known for playing on stage with a couple of other artists. He took that guy's song and just made it his one night. It was an iconic night, and I can't remember.
You talking about the Guitar Hall of Fame?
Maybe that's what it was.
It was Tom Petty, I think.
Tom Petty.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what, when I saw that photograph of you, that reminded me of Prince
Oh,
that
wow.
night, because I do believe he had on red that day as well when he did that. So I was like,
yeah, that's thank you, Pauline. That's actually pretty powerful, the fact that you would even mention me in that, and I'm very humbled by that.
oh, well.
Can I tell you my Prince story though?
Sure, we're gonna hear this Prince story. Go ahead.
So working with Anthony, Prince was, I don't know if you remember, he did a Welcome to America tour back in 2011, and he came to Raleigh, right? And he was touring the East Coast. Well, I saw that he was coming to Raleigh, and I was like, oh my God, I've never been to a Prince show. I'm going to a Prince show. And it was the day after my birthday.
Oh, wow.
No, he came on the day of my birthday.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I gotta go. This is like a sign. So I was literally on my computer in my kitchen on Ticketmaster about to purchase the tickets. And before I could hit send or enter, again, my friend Kenny Leonard called me and was like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I'm about to buy these tickets or whatever. Nothing. Basically, he was like, clear your schedule for the rest of the week. We're opening for Prince.
Oh, wow.
So I went from literally about to purchase tickets to go as a concert goer to actually performing and opening for him.
Wow.
So we performed in Charlotte when he did the Charlotte show. So at Spectrum Center at the time. And life-changing. It was absolutely life-changing. I had an opportunity to meet him. We were both, I have a picture of it. Nobody knew, but we snuck the picture and took it. And I told my friend at the time, I was like, bro, if you love me, you will take this picture and risk everything. So, but it's a picture of us standing on the stage together after we just finished talking. We both had our guitars, and that was a special moment for me. Absolutely special moment.
I'm just feeling that right now myself. I can just imagine.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. I know you sent one track over. Are we going to get to hear another song from you today?
I don't know. Let's we could do some improv, I guess.
Okay. All right. But before we do that, I would like to let our listeners know that you're listening to Chat City with P. Ross on Oak 93.5 WRLY Raleigh. In the building, we have Monica Edwards, owner of Moorhead Manor Bed and Breakfast, and Mr. Darnell Showcase Taylor, national recording artist, and he is going to bless us with another song. But before he does that, Ibanez Guitars, a leading Japanese guitar maker, has tapped you to serve as face of its international brand.
Yeah, somewhat.
How did this happen for you, Mr. Taylor?
2 words, God's favor.
All right now. Hand clap on God's favor.
I can't take any credit for that, by no means. They were introducing a new product back in 2014, and my rep, Mike Arrigo, shout out to Mike, out in LA, was like, hey man, I think I got a guitar for you that you would really like. And it's actually the one I'm holding right now. It's funny that you mentioned this. And he sent it to me. He told me everything he was going to do to it, and I told him what I would like for it to be my dream guitar in a sense. And this guitar was popular in Europe and in a lot of their overseas markets. It wasn't as popular here in the U.S., but they actually, So they, I had an endorsement with them, and they used my face as one of the leaders with this particular product. It has now since been discontinued, but yeah. So that was an opportunity that I felt like it was, that was a blessing for sure.
Yeah.
To be featured. And they have so many great artists and guitarists, and one being an iconic Ibanez member is George Benson.
Oh, wow.
okay.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
He's played Ibanez for years.
All right.
So to be on that roster with him and all the other greats is, certainly an honor and a pleasure.
Yes, yes. Okay, give us a little something special for the listeners.
Let's see. What do you want to hear?
Whatever you want to play. Monica, you have a request for him?
I don't have a request, but I have a request from my fans that are watching on Facebook Live, and they want to see him in Moorhead Manor's rear garden and a jazz on the lawn.
Listen, y'all heard it first from the first lady, from the queen. We can make something happen.
Yes.
Let's see. See if y'all remember this one.
I do. Nothing see. You heard it too. We gotta call him up. I remember that. Yes. Dial that number. No one
Yeah.
answers till 2:00. Join in, Monica.
No, you don't want me to debut my singing on the radio.
Love keeps you tied Awesome. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
thank you.
Wait
Awesome.
a minute. My house applause not working. Man, I saw Bruno Mars do that. Silk Sonic.
Silk
Man,
Sonic,
that just blew me away.
Yeah. That song's. I've always loved that song, and I that's one of the songs I play in my show. And people always request it. They was like, I'm like, I was thinking not playing it tonight. They was like, I want to hear that Love Train song. And then Bruno turned around and they put it re-recorded it. I was like, oh, I knew I was on the song.
It's timeless.
It really is.
It's timeless.
It really is.
Now, Darnell, I know your phones probably ring off the hook for requests for you to be on stage. How often are you away from home, and how do you balance that with home life?
It's seasonal. It just depends on what's going on. Brian's schedule is a little more intense, but primarily with touring is anywhere from March to about October, November. So you're pretty much home for the holidays. But even with me, I can't say that I have those schedules where, people tour for 6 months or anything like that. Like, like you said, having a home life and just trying to keep that balance there. I'm like 2 weeks at the most, and then I come home for a week or 2 weeks, or I come home during the week, and it might just be weekends. I'm just out. So you might see me in the airport on the weekends, coming in and out, for a month at a time or whatever. And then I just have times like right now. I worked all of June, pretty much every weekend, and this month I'm actually home. So there's balance there, and this was my first time having a 4th of July that I didn't have to really play since obviously COVID, everybody was home, but that I didn't actually have to be out playing somewhere. I could actually barbecue in my backyard and just have a normal 4th of July, and that felt good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, we do have Monica Edwards here. We talked more with her earlier in the show, and she is the owner of Moorhead Manor Bed and Breakfast, located in Durham, North Carolina. Monica, we know bed and breakfast, that's basically finding a place to sleep, get up and eat in the morning. What do you do during what I call downtime?
I really don't have any downtime.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No, basically, there are always behind the scenes things that are going on, such as keeping up with your social media, taking reservations, making, looking at improvement of the property and things like that, trying to do marketing and keeping my place of establishment on the tongues of the people who need to know about me.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you this. Do you also offer any other activities at bed and breakfast there, like doing what I was calling downtime, what I see as downtime? Do you host any events or anything like that there?
Of course.
Okay.
Besides just operating overnight accommodations, we also have event space.
Okay.
We just relaunched our Jazz on the Lawn concert series last month since we're celebrating our 25th year in business. It was something that we did when we first opened to basically give people something to do. And ironically, the city of Durham picked up our concert series and decided to use it to showcase the parks around the city of Durham. Okay. And they have more money than we had, of course, so they could do that. So we just, as I said, we just recently relaunched our Jazz on the Lawn concert series. We had a performing artist last month. As a matter of fact, this coming Friday, which is tomorrow, we're doing a Comedy Under the Stars featuring Rodney Laney and Leah Lynn, who are both comedians. The show will start at 7, and tickets are still available on our Eventbrite site.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this, Monica. For someone who's never experienced a bed and breakfast and is nervous about choosing one, what advice do you have for them?
I wouldn't know why they would be nervous, but it's a lot of times we do have first time B&B goers staying with us, and they tend to say that we basically de-escalated their anxiety about staying in that. And I think what happens is a lot of times when people thinking about staying in hotels, you're just an anonymous being. But when you're in a bed and breakfast, because you're there with a smaller number of people and it's a more intimate environment, I think sometimes that may give people a little angst, or they just thinking that they're staying in someone else's home. But our guests come as guests and leave as friends. Okay.
All right. And how was the pandemic for you at your bed and breakfast?
The pandemic was scary.
Okay.
Even though we're deemed an essential business, we shut down the inn for about 3 months, just so that we could wrap our head around all the rules and regulations that came with COVID. And I can imagine, as you all remember, every other day there was something different that you needed to do, whether they didn't know how long the virus lived on a bed sheet or a wall or a curtain or a mirror or something such as that. And since our business is not only our business, but it's our home as well, we wanted to take extra precautions as to not come down with COVID ourselves, as well as to protect other guests that were coming through our property.
Are things better now?
Things are better. We shut down March of 2020 and opened back up in June of 2020. Okay. And we've seen a steady stream of guests throughout that time. And I think one of the things that happened during that time was that guests that were not necessarily B&B goers felt safer, because we launched a campaign, stay safe, stay small, stay in, stay with us at Moorhead Manor, where with less people, the less chance of you being exposed to the virus. So we had a lot of people to stay with us that may not have normally been bed and breakfast goers at that time.
Okay. We have a little bit more time before we close the show. We're close to the top of the hour. If anyone have any questions, feel free to give us a call at 919-899-9305. Mr. Taylor, do you have a band?
I do have a band.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your band.
My band, 'cause it kind of flip-flops, like we all work with different people or whatever, but we have a main core crew that I work with, and I call my band Country Culture.
Country Culture, okay.
Yeah.
All right. How'd you come up with that title?
That's who I am.
Okay.
That's what raised me, the country. I'm from Chatham County, and everything that comes with that, the culture of the country, the sweet tea, the lemonade, the grits, I grew up on all that, you know what I mean? And it's cultivated me and my sound. And so I felt like that name would certainly reflect who I am and my sound. Because it's funky, it's gritty, it's smooth, it's all those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when can we see your next performance?
That's a good question.
We're going to arrange that.
Oh, yeah. See, we just talked to Moorhead Manor here. So, yeah, once we get that one going. But in terms of the national stages, I have a show with Brian Culbertson on August 26th, I think. It was 27th, and that's in Hampton, Virginia, I believe. I'll be with him, and I have a show with Moo Moo Fresh, which is a phenomenal hip-hop artist that I work with out of D.C.
Okay.
We have a couple of shows. August 13th, we'll be at the African American Museum in D.C. Doing their block parties, their first time, I think, doing the block party, and we're a part of that show. And then we're playing on August 19th in Baltimore, the Vegan Festival. I think we're headlining the Vegan Festival there.
Okay.
So you can catch me with them.
All right.
Yeah.
And if someone wanted to reach out to you, maybe for some lessons or just to ask you a few questions, do you have a contact number or any information?
Yeah, they can hit me on Instagram at I Am Showcase, or they can hit me on Facebook at I Am Showcase.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. All right. Monica, is there anything else you would like to share as far as guests who are traveling and need some advice on accommodations?
Well, since gas prices are so high and airlines don't always get you places on time, we're the perfect place in Durham for a staycation. You can find us on social media at Moorhead Manor. That's across Instagram as well as Facebook. Or you can just give us a call at 919-687-4366.
Okay. All right. So this has been Chat City with Monica Edwards of Moorhead Manor Bed and Breakfast and Mr. Darnell Showcase Taylor. Again, it has been a pleasure to have you two here with me today. Thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to do the show with me. Darnell, I have one request of you since I have 3 minutes left. Could you grace us with more music?
Oh, okay, sure. Hey,
right.
make sure y'all go and download Soul Ties with Marcus Anderson featuring Darnell Showcase Taylor. And also, I'd like to shout out my guys, Nicholas Cole, who's another amazing artist here in North Carolina. He's also a producer, but he and my great friend LaFrance have a song out right now. It just got added today. I just got the phone call that it got added. Number 4 to Urban Radio. It's called All the Way, and I'm playing guitar on that. So make sure y'all go and support them, please.
All right.
Let's see. Let's get a little sound here going.
Okay.
There we go. If you know the song, sing it.
I know it, but I don't know it. Oh, wow. I can't. Let me see if Google can help me out a little bit. Oh, wow. I can't think of it. I'm drawing a blank. I'm so sorry. I remember that part. All right. Again, you were listening to Chat City with P. Ross, Mr. Darnell Showcase Taylor, and Ms. Monica Edwards. All right.
Thank
We'll
you
be
again.
back next week.
Thank you for having us.
Thursday at 5 p.m. Please tune in. Have a wonderful evening.
WRLYLP, Raleigh.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Simon Marks. President Biden says the use of force is a possible option if Iran continues to develop nuclear weapons. Speaking in Jerusalem after a day of diplomacy,